You're listening to Champion Cinema with Chris and Chris.
Hello, folks. Welcome to the Chris. No, fuck you.
I was waiting. It's not the Chris and Chris show.
I'm literally going to have to write the name of the show at the start of my format sheet each week now.
You're going to have to put a post-it note on your screen.
I will.
Basically.
Yeah. Hello, folks, and welcome to Champion Cinema. I'm Chris with a Condor C.
Oh, and I'm Chris with a Rosamund Kwan.
Oh,
okay.
Lovely.
I was spoiled for K's this week.
Yeah, lovely.
Well, so many.
It's a Jackie Chan double bill this week. We're looking at Armour of God and Armour of God 2, Operation Condor. And on the day of recording, the 7th, it is Jackie's birthday. Happy birthday, Mr. Chan. 70 years young.
70. Did you see that post that he put up today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on Instagram.
Yeah, about him saying it's just quite interesting because obviously I sent you that image, didn't I, of him looking like a leprechaun, bless him. He looks super old.
Yeah.
It's been doing the rounds on social media.
Yeah.
But obviously I did kind of think it's probably for a role.
Yeah, because he's in movies playing a guy with dementia or something, isn't he?
Yeah, because he's always kind of kept his hair, dark and stuff, and Hollywood actors, they don't generally tend to let themselves go like mad grey and stuff, and that.
Nah.
Hollywood/Chinese actors. But yeah. So the statement is like, it's my 70th birthday. Can't believe it's already. I'm 70, but please don't worry about my health. It was for a movie role and stuff.
Yeah. Because not long after you sent us, I think it was like a week or two later, there started to be footage leaking out of him shooting it. I thought, and then I saw what the plot was and thought, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So 70. All we're heroes getting old.
It's mad, isn't it? Yeah, it's mad. I still can't believe Ernie Hudson's as old as he is.
I know, he looks about 40. He's ripped.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Champion Cinema.
So Armour of God runs for 1 hour and 38 minutes, was released in 1986. Interestingly, though, was released in Japan in August in 86, but not until January in Hong Kong, I guess, because, I guess he always release these movies on Chinese New Year and stuff, so.
Yeah.
Directed by Jackie Chan and Eric Zhang online, but we'll get to that in a bit. Starring birthday boy Jackie Chan as Asian Hawk, funny boy Alan Tam as Alan, the delectable Lola Fauna as May, and the adorable Rosamund Kwan as Lorelei. But what's the story? What's it all about?
So, Indiana Jones meets Chinese Kung Fu. Jackie Chan plays the daring Asian Hawk, a treasure hunter and mercenary for hire, who must go on a grand adventure when an old friend is kidnapped and held ransom for pieces of the Armour of God set. However, Jackie strikes a deal to borrow the known pieces from an antiquities collector with the agreement he'll return the loaned pieces along with a completed set.
Yeah.
So it took me about 20 goes to condense that, didn't it? Because it's one of them where it's it's not as bad as a lot of Hong Kong action films where they just have a really mad convoluted story.
It's not Project A2, we'll put it that way.
But it is a little bit. There was probably a simpler way to get to the point of them trying to get the Armour of God.
Well, I was going to say, I forgot this when watching it this time, how much happens in the first 10 minutes. It's so crammed. It feels like it almost needs another 5 minutes to breathe a little bit. The opening 10 minutes is about half an hour's worth of story.
I like how they totally gloss over that he's like an ex-pop star.
Yeah, that's never mentioned again.
He was a pop star, he was in a band, and Lorelei was one of his band members, and they were friendship, and it's whoa, slow down.
But yeah, I guess this is the start of, besides Wheels on Meals, but that was a Sammo movie. I think the start of Jackie's international Hong Kong movies where he would go all over the world and make movies and stuff. Yeah. Of course, kind of unlucky that the first time he does that, he almost dies. The first couple of weeks of shooting. Yeah,
right at the start. Yeah, because it really changed the trajectory of this movie as well to a certain degree. Cynthia Rothrock was going to be in this movie until it because of his injury, it derailed the whole filming schedule and stuff.
I think she said, because she said that in an interview not a couple of years ago, and I think didn't she say that was why she's in Millionaires Express? Golden Harvest put her in that instead. And which do you think she would she be playing the Rosamund, the Lola Fauna role? Do you reckon? I guess.
Well, I've seen some trivia saying she was going to be one of the Amazons, but
Oh, okay.
I mean, maybe, but she would have looked a bit. Were they going to blackface her or something?
No.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, she just would have looked a little bit out of place, unless maybe they're going to have all white Amazons.
No, it seems like because they were quite high on her at the time with like the movie should be making it. She just signed with Golden Harvest, so I imagine she would have had a supporting lead role. Do you know what I mean? It just the only character I can see making sense is the Lola Fauna role, really.
Me too, like,
and and give her more of an action role, like make that role a bit more action centric and stuff.
Yeah, it's crazy though that the stunt that went wrong. The fact that firstly, it wasn't like a super grand stunt. Really, it was just him jumping into a tree. Mm-hmm. I mean, don't get us wrong. It's still like pretty dangerous.
I wouldn't do it. Yeah.
Stunt. Yeah, but it wasn't like something insane like I'm jumping from one building to another or anything like that.
It never is. It's always the small things.
No.
Yeah.
But didn't he like permanently partly lose hearing in one ear because of this injury?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it left him with like a basically pierced his skull, like a rock pierced his skull. Yeah, and he's still got kind of like a hole in his skull that's just plugged up.
And obviously, he cut his hair short for this movie because he wanted to have a different look. Yeah,
this is supposed to be like a fresh look for this character. Yeah,
and because of the injury, he kind of like did that like superstition thing where he just went back to having long hair because he kind of felt like maybe it was the short hair that fucked him up, sort of superstition.
Yeah, there's just a big like full stop in the middle of the opening scene where you go, oh, here's the footage where they've resumed filming.
Yeah,
his hair is just instantly like 5 inches longer,
and like basically traditionally Jackie Chan haircut, basically where it's just a bit shaggy and long,
a big bob, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was saying about like how Eric Zhang is like listed as like co-director and like most of the like official credits, like not on the film, I don't think. Mm-hmm. But like I'd heard before, maybe it's on the old Hong Kong Legends DVD, that like Eric Zhang was the original director, so like he was directing the opening scene basically. Like, and then once Jackie got injured and the shoot was like delayed and like postponed for a while, he went off and did other things, and then when they came back he wasn't available, so then Jackie just directed the rest of the movie. But like just looking over Wikipedia for like random info today, it says he took over as director after the accident, and I'm like, but there was no shoot happening for like months. So I don't know, I've always said that like he was the original director and then couldn't come back because of he was doing other stuff. Probably Millionaire's Express.
yeah, it makes sense, wouldn't it? Yeah, yeah. Like it doesn't quite make sense that he would be directing after the injury. Like that version makes much more sense that Jackie Chan ended up directing, because it was like the whole schedule was fucked basically because of the injury. And
you know what it's like anyway when someone, unless it's Sammo, when someone else is directing Jackie, he's still always co-director, so he's always going to be directing anyway. So
yeah, because all the stunts and stuff are kind of being like put together by him and stuff anyway, aren't they?
Yeah, he's going to be directing all the action scenes, so he's always going to be co-director. There's one other thing as well that's like kind of weird about the opening scene, that I wonder if this was supposed to be a character trait that they just abandoned after the resumed shooting. Like Jackie's character's like backflipping and flipping all over the place. He's very acrobatic in that opening scene, but never again for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it's a good point. That it's like has a different feel really to his approach.
He does about like 4 backflips in about 30 seconds.
Yeah. I never thought about it.
Maybe he was just like, I don't even know if that's him. That could be like, one of the guys in the stunt team that's a bit more acrobatic. But maybe he was just like, I don't want to take any unnecessary risks now that I've got a hole in my head, at least for a while.
Give us like a year to recover.
So there is some odd bits in this movie. There's one bit that I just never remember, because I think I'm more familiar with the like truncated, like, the old dubbed video version and stuff, which has the weird dream sequence missing.
Remind us.
Well, you like just before when they're all together before they go like rescue Lorelei, they're just in the hotel. He falls asleep after an argument, and then he just dreams that like he sees like Alan and Lorelei waving at him in slow motion. Then his own car is chasing him down the street.
Yes.
And you think like, oh, is that going to be explained later? Is there a second part of that? No. It's so weird.
It's never go back to it.
No, it's like he just like had an idea for something, never went back to it, but just kept it in the film. It's really bizarre. And of course, the most out of place bit, most like stylistically out of place scene is the fucking massacre scene at the fashion show. Yeah.
It's interesting that both these films have like a bit of an out of place massacre. Was that the gimmick? Did they want to, in the sequel, did they be like, oh, we've got to have that out of place massacre scene again?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's way more graphic in this one though. Like, the one in this one feels like it's something of a John Woo movie, just like squibs and a guy gets shot in the eye.
Well, I was just about to say, I think the one that stands out is the random dude that gets shot in the face. Where you're like, what?
Yeah.
Is that the most violent thing to happen in a Jackie Chan film?
In a movie that he's directed, I think. Yeah.
Because it's literally like, I think he gets shot through the camera first.
And then in his other eye.
And you don't see it. And then you see it in the other eye, and you see like the splatter and stuff. And it's like, fucking hell.
It's weirdly like, brutal and violent for a Jackie movie.
Yeah. Certainly, this film, compared to its sequel, like feels a bit all over the shop. A little bit. I think it's a funny one because, and I don't want to just jump straight to the end and like sum up the movie, but I think like there's some real highs in this movie, like with the obvious fights at the end and stuff and that.
Yeah.
But I think like some of the early stuff and the midpoint in the movie is like really a bit messy and kind of loses my attention anyway. Yeah,
I think one of the things it's missing is like when you think about it, besides like as far as hand-to-hand fight scenes go, like there's a tiny little bit at the start. And that's pretty much it until right at the end when you get like the two big fights at the end. It just needed like something else in the middle, I think. I know you've got that car chase, which I love the car chase. I think that's one of the highlights of the movie. Yeah, it just needs something else. It needs like another little fight with monks in the middle, something, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because there's just a big bit where it's, like when she's under the influence of the drug and stuff and all that sort of stuff kind of just loses me a little bit. And I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
The one thing though, I mean, you touched on it. Obviously, both movies share this, but like the locations, it is a really crazy movie for that. Like, they filmed it like all over, didn't they? So primarily, I think it was Yugoslavia was like where they shot a lot of the like near castles and whatnot and outside.
Yeah, that's where the opening shot when he like hurt himself. That was in Yugoslavia.
Yeah, Croatia as well. They filmed Slovenia as well.
Yeah,
like that's where the castle was and stuff.
Yeah,
so quite like international shoot. But I think what really stands this movie out as well from the other ones is the aspect ratio. With it being in 185, it feels super wide and open. The camera
it does
at times.
It does, yeah.
Like that mad shot. Apparently, well, looking at the special features, it was in Austria. The bit where there's like a massive wide shot of like. Trying to think how it looks like almost like a massive museum, and there's like a little pond. Well, not a little pond; it's a massive pond. But it's like a really wide shot of like him and Alan.
Oh, and they're arguing. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like it just looks crazy. Like it's such a like nice shot. They really like took advantage of the locations basically that they were at.
Oh yeah, they always do. It's like Jackie and like what was the website like about Wheels on Meals? Like there's so many shots in that just make you want to go to Spain.
Yeah, go like sightseeing and stuff.
Just pick like almost awesome tourist spots. Be like, that looks nice.
There's a great special feature on the Blu-ray, on the 88 Films Blu-ray, whereas it's like locations then and now. So it's like shots of the movie, and they've obviously like the guy that's put it together, he's gone to all these places and like took a still image of like the exact camera angle. And a lot of these places, they just look like exactly the same.
Yeah.
I guess a lot of the places they shot were like, historical sort of touristy places where they're not going to get like a new lick of paint or anything.
No.
But yeah, it's just fascinating to see like all the locations are like still there. I think that it was put together in like 2020 or something, or whenever the special feature was. It looks really good. Looks just it would be interesting to like almost go to these places.
Yeah.
Sightseeing and get photos stood in the spots and stuff.
Yeah, there's a guy, I don't know if it might be the same guy who made that. Like, there's an Instagram account that just does that. He goes around with like the screenshot as a picture and holds it up in line with the actual location. It's really cool,
isn't it? Yeah.
One thing though that like Jackie loves to do, especially in the 80s, it's like a scenario it always goes back to, the French farce wires crossed scenario that he does in both this Project Dave, fucking Operation Condor. It's like he was just always trying to perfect it with each movie.
Yeah. I suppose maybe it's just something that plays well. It is not maybe it's something that plays really well to like Chinese audiences, I guess. And
because it's in a bunch of films that kind of like hiding in a room, someone can't say I'm here, or like two people are talking to each other but they're each talking about something different and they don't realise it. Yeah,
like Millionaires Express does it to great effect and stuff.
Yeah.
It just appears in so many like Hong Kong action movies at the time. But yeah, it's done quite well in this one as well.
I think it's done better in Operation Condor, the version.
Yeah. Oh yeah, massively. Like the room to room shenanigans and stuff. It's like they refined the idea.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but it's still really good. I love the bit when they go into the hotel room and sit down, and she pops up from the bed, Rosamund Kwan.
Yeah.
Because she's like under the covers or something, but she's kind of zombified still, like it like zoned out. But I think it's like Jacky's reaction. He like shits himself.
But as for the action, I mean, like I said, it's not action heavy throughout, but the finale, you know, I think the finale for me, it's like one of me fit. As a film, it's fine, but like the finale is one of me like top 5 Jackie finales, definitely.
Yeah, like it's a weird one for me. It almost feels like it's a different movie at that point. When they go to the underground cavern, it's like suddenly it's a different film.
Yeah, well, I think as well because, you know, as soon as it cuts to the shot of him putting the gloves on, he's on the motorbike. Yeah. Instantly, when that scene comes on, my brain just like clicks, and I think that's probably just because the amount of times I've just watched the film from there.
From that point.
Yeah, so it feels like, oh, here's that movie. It's just like it's the finale of this movie.
Yeah, I mean, it may be the same for me because I really got that feeling, and it is probably the most like watched sort of singular scene of Jackie's that I've watched over the years, just this bit. Plus
as well, both fights are featured in full on the Best of Martial Arts documentary, which we've both watched a lot as well. So
we're kind of on it, so let's talk about the scene, the Amazon scene, really.
Yeah, that's the I do like the monk fight, which we'll get to in a bit, but it's the Amazon fight that I like the most. It's just like the choreography is insane. It's like a fun idea that he doesn't really want to fight them.
Yeah.
It's funny. There's some brutal stunts, but I mean, you know, once you've seen it more than once, you can see the Chinese stuntmen with the makeup on and high heels. It becomes pretty obvious.
Like
but
they've got massive wigs on and stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. But the thing is, though, like when you do say the women look great, it's a shame like you couldn't use them more because they look really fucking fierce and terrifying.
Yeah. They like really go for the throat. Basically, those women, they're like literally not fucking around to want to kill him.
I just love how as soon as the fight starts, he's just constantly blocking dick kicks.
Yeah, like just savagely going for his dick.
Like just every other second there's a foot trying to kick him in the balls. It's pretty funny. And then of course he's really like dirty. He's backing up with his arse sticking out trying to like protect his nuts, and then one of them just kicks him straight in the arse.
Yeah, the little comedy noise and
stuff. That's top tier Jackie comedy for me. That moment, him waddling away with his arse.
It's really a great moment as well when he punches them and punches the lass in the chest.
Yeah.
And the just the wobble of the like cleavage wobble, and then he's like, sorry.
Yeah. And she just grabs them like fucking whatever.
Yeah. It puts them back into position. Yeah, it's a really good scene though.
But yeah, that fucking there's two moments that like you think, I guess they just did that when the stuntman jumps off like the walkover, the not bridge, but like you know what I mean?
Yeah, like whatever it is, like the rampart or something.
Yeah.
It's some fucking structure, yeah.
Obviously, the only way he like, jumps down and Jackie just like kicks the stuntman in the legs as he's falling, and he just flips on his back. And I'm like, there's no way to do that except just hope he has a good aim, and you just kick him in the knees.
Yeah, such a crazy moment. It looks so brutal.
It does.
Like,
yeah.
Good God.
Like I'm sure it's undercranked a little bit, but it's just the speed in which he flips over onto his back, like Christ. Yeah. And of course, the way he finishes off the last girl / stuntman is she runs at him to do like a drop kick basically, and he just drops on his back, kicks her in the lower back, and she just flips like 4 times, lands on her face. Like once again, it might be clever editing. They might just be like on a wire and they've just spun them, but it looks brutal. It looks really effective.
The way they land and stuff. Yeah. It's very hard hitting. It's such a good fight.
It is. Yeah. Not a long one, obviously, because Jackie wasn't doing, unless he was working with Sam, he wasn't doing knockdown, drag out 10-minute fights back like at this point. So, but it's just a good short, punchy fight scene. There's like no wasted movement or anything.
Yeah, and then obviously like the pacing of the movie, how it then immediately goes into like a bit of a comedy scene. It's kind of like a nice cool down from quite an intense scene to then like, when he's got the dynamite and stuff. And he's accidentally lighting the other sticks of dynamite in his hand and stuff and that. And it's a great like cool down moment from like an intense sort of martial arts scene.
It's pretty funny though, because he's like using it as a bluff. He wasn't intending to blow the place up, but like if you're going to use dynamite as a bluff, don't use real dynamite.
Totally. Yeah, it's like they're a terrible kind of bluff. Plus, like he shouldn't have been having all those fights with a dynamite vest
No,
on, right?
nah, it's probably pretty dangerous. Yeah, to take a kick to the chest with a chest full of dynamite. Yeah, but that's for the fight with the monks that comes just before that. There's a lot of good comedy with like Alan Tam messing up, and I love that bit where he's running away and he thinks he's holding on to Rosamund Kwan and it's just some monk and holds his hand.
And he shits himself and then pulls him
the
into
guy
the
knocks himself out. It looks so big. It's like the corner of a metal bar, like a metal railing. It just looks so painful.
I think the set's really nice as well. The dining hall, like that whole set.
Yeah.
I think all that was shot in Hong Kong, like on a soundstage or whatever.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
But it looks really good, and
it does.
You can see it's like a great space for like a martial arts movie. You know what I mean? There's loads of bits that can use and duck and run in between and stuff.
Yeah,
and
I guess that's because Jackie's he's always been good at just turning up to on location and figuring out what to do with something. But when he's got his own set, he probably designed himself.
Yeah.
You just know exactly where everything should go for the fight scene.
Yeah. Well, like I said, they use it to great effect. You know, the fact he's got a massive log on fire.
Yeah.
All the stuff with like the table and hiding behind the chest of drawers or whatever it is, the cabinet. Yeah, it's great. There's
one really small little exchange that I always rewind over and over again. It's just so nicely edited and put together. It's really small. It's not like a complex moment. It's just after he like sweeps a guy. And then it cuts to like on Jackie's face, and then it zooms out really quickly. Then he has that little exchange with two guys. It's such a quick moment, but I don't know why. I just love that moment.
Yeah,
it's just so nicely quick and like just quick and smooth. It's just really nice.
Yeah, there's a lot of moments during that dining room scene where you could rewatch it over and over again and like notice little stuff.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Quick little things. Yeah,
and of course, props to that poor stuntman. I'm sure he had protection on his legs, but the one that takes the backflip and then lands shin first on the edge of the dining table. It always makes us wince, that. And the one that has to take like a neck bump on that stool that's like leaning on the table as well. He just bounces off it like a fucking ball.
Yeah, some nasty bits in there.
It's a very good finale. Of course, the big finale is him doing the dive onto the top of the hot air balloon.
Yeah, which is pretty mad in itself. It's interesting that like I always forget like how little footage actually makes it in the movie really of him like connecting with the balloon and stuff. Like I wonder if they just fucked up the shot on the day or something. I think it's a composite of two things. It's really him skydiving, but like him landing on the balloon is like something. I don't know if it's on like the video version or one version. You can just see something like static in the bottom corner. It's like it's not, it's just him jumping from a height onto a stationary hot air balloon, which is fine. Look, don't get me wrong, I don't expect him to jump out of a plane onto a hot air balloon. That's mental. Yeah, but still, it's a type of stunt that he did like genuine skydive. He did land on like a balloon in the air and stuff. I'm just surprised there isn't like a cleaner shot of him literally just landing on the balloon, because the shot that you see of him land on the balloon is from inside the balloon, where you see like his shadow like hit the balloon.
But there is a long shot of him landing on the balloon though.
Yeah.
That I think is just like
briefly.
It's like an insert, because I think it is just it's heavily shot, so it's just up. You don't see anything but the balloon, and I'm sure you can see something in the background like a tree.
Yeah. But it's a cool like memorable ending though to it, definitely.
It is, yeah, and with the banging Flight of the Dragon song. Well, it depends which version you watch, really. I'm used to that because the old dub version, but there's the other version with Lorelei over the end of it, or each of those songs in Cantonese instead of English. Yeah. Which is, we'll get out in a minute, but that's the great thing about the 88 films, really. So you can just watch like a numerous different, you can like pick which bits you want and which dub you want and stuff like that. It's great.
Yeah, it's great, that, isn't it? Yeah. I guess, is this the beginning of his love affair with Mitsubishi? Or...
It may have been around about this time he first got the sponsorship, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking like with Cannonball Run, was it a Mitsubishi in Cannonball
No, it's
Run? It wasn't,
it's a Subaru.
Yeah. But obviously, like, I guess that was probably the prototype Cannonball Run for like gadgety cars that do things.
That's the first film he was in with that kind of shit. Yeah.
So it's like carried over into this movie. But yeah, that ridiculously boxy 80s as fuck looking Mitsubishi that he drives.
It looks almost like Mitsubishi's attempt at like a DeLorean or something. Where it's all stainless steel and shit. Yeah.
I know it was actually a concept car. It was never like an actual car that was made for purchase. Yeah. And it was made specially for the movie as well. They like made it for Jackie apparently. Yeah. But yeah, it's like I said, it's the start of like Mitsubishi being in like every one of his films for a certain amount of time.
I'm just thinking, I think the first time Yeah, I think it might be around Wheels on Meals. There's that one shot where there's just a giant Mitsubishi like LED billboard on the side of a building. And is that the one with that woman where there's just a random scene when an old woman pulls up, like has to brake really hard in a car, and she gets out of the car and goes, "You're lucky my car's so nice," and there's just a big Mitsubishi logo right in the front. I'm like, Christ.
Okay. Product placement.
Yeah.
Well, you've got to pay for these movies somehow.
Well, exactly, yeah.
Because like this film and more so the next film, they were like extremely expensive in terms of like Hong Kong movies.
Like I know Operation Condor, at least at that point, was the most expensive Hong Kong movie ever made at that point. I don't know if this was probably. I think pretty much throughout the 80s, every time Jackie directed a movie, it was the most expensive Hong Kong movie up until that point.
Yeah. Just all the travel and the, hiring people and moving people from one place to another. And
the time he took, I think it took them like 9 months to make Operation Condor. It's close to that 8-9 months, and like that's why after that you see him start doing movies with other people. Because I think Golden Harvest were like, "All right, we need more movies from you, Jackie. You're taking like 2 years to make a movie. Like go make movies with the directors, quick ones." That's why you get like Crime Story and stuff like that. Yeah.
One thing though that I noticed more about this movie that I haven't previously is, and it's kind of obvious, but that Operation Condor kind of repeats a lot of the beats of this movie.
Oh, it's the same format basically. Same beats, same plot points, just but kind of better, I would say.
I just don't think I've ever seen it. I always kind of put this movie as being like quite different, but like watching them immediately back to back, you kind of see them. Like, there's the stuff with the car. Well, there's the setup, the tribes at the start of the movie. There's the stuff with the car, stately home stuff. There's a road trip montage at one point. 2 women, although it's 3. There's no like male counterpart in the second one. It's just 3 women. Yeah. And then like shenanigans, like you said, French farce stuff, like hotel room to hotel room, and it's quite interesting, like how different the movies are, but kind of how similar they are as well. I was going to say,
they're really different, but exactly the same.
yeah, it's interesting. Like it's probably one of the rare occasions where it's like, because sometimes it was almost to the detriment with Hong Kong action films. If they hit on something good, it was just like, right, do it again for the sequel. Because that's like massively what Chinese markets just wanted during that time period, just like the same thing again. Don't divert, don't try and do anything different. We just want the same stuff. But I think it really works well. They like refine it, which we'll come on to with Operation Condor, but it's just interesting watching them like both together.
Yeah, and I noticed that as well, because I watched them back to back, like this morning. And I noticed that as well. I was like, God, it's just the exact same template with like a different MacGuffin, basically. That's some more highlights. Alan Tam's Midnight Rider is a banger. That's another banging song in the movie. Yeah. During the massacre scene.
Yeah, the mental setup stuff.
Candle pop song where people getting shot in the face.
Like, it almost feels like real footage of him, like on stage, performing an act or something.
Probably is, yeah. One of his big gigs.
It suddenly goes grainy, like that stock footage sort of look to it.
Yeah. One of my favourite like little throwaway lines, because it's just so needlessly brutal, when they're escaping at the end and he hands him a canteen and he goes, "What am I supposed to do with this?" He's like, "It's for your coffee." Then he gives him a knife and he's like, "I hate violence, use it to kill yourself."
Yeah, he really hasn't got time for Alan at all in this film.
He doesn't at all. Yeah. Another little bit I like that I completely forgot about actually is the flashback to like the origins of the Armour, which is like shot like a totally different movie. I'm like, Jackie should have done a movie like that at some point. A big like
it's pretty crazy and epic, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I guess he did, didn't he? That what's it called?
Oh, the Myth.
Yes, the Myth, yeah,
he did.
Guess he did do that, but less that's said about that movie, the better.
I honestly don't think I've seen the whole thing.
It's not very good from memory. Although I should rewatch it again, but me one and only memory is just being extremely whelmed by the movie.
Not whelmed. You don't want to be whelmed.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd rather be underwhelmed than whelmed.
Yeah, exactly. I would rather be angered at least, but I was just like, I just watched it silently, stopped it, ejected the disc, and never thought about it ever again.
It's like, that was a film.
It happened. For me, I think a really nice bit, and I always remember it anyway, the scene is the little bit that May gets when she dresses as obviously she's going undercover as a prostitute to the castle, and like the head henchman guy, the bad guy, the mad looking guy that looks like a fucking Zionoid.
Looks like a fucking anime villain or something.
But they do a whole comedy skit where he's getting drunk but he's pretending to be drunk and stuff.
He looks looks like it's so annoyed.
He does.
He does. Yeah.
Crazy, like, big forehead, bless him. It's crazy. But yeah, I just really like that scene. It's just like daft, light-hearted sort of comedy. It's good, and I really like her. It's a shame.
Yeah, I know.
It's a shame we didn't get to see Lola Fauna in more.
Yeah, I wish she'd done more, like in Hong Kong at that time. I would have liked to see a movie with like her and Cynthia Rothrock or something. That would have been cool. Yeah.
I think apparently they just hired her again in this because she was the only like European person Jackie knew, basically. So just the job by default.
I also really like the road trip montage. I don't know. It makes us want to go on a road trip.
Yeah, I think that's really well shot. Again, it's something that watching it on like a big, HD screen, and with it being 185 and stuff, and it just fills the screen. Everything just looks really nice. Like it's really, really good. It's very visually striking, this film. But yeah, this and Operation Condor, the montages are like randomly like highlights of the movies.
They are. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Any major criticisms of them went over?
Well, I think, like I said, the middle section loses me, definitely. Although I do like the comedy and the shenanigans, like when she's under the control of the drug and whatnot. I just feel like it meanders a little bit, like it feels like it could have done with a bit of an edit somewhere.
Yeah.
Like definitely. And I think the initial setup is definitely like way more wishy-washy than what it is in Operation Condor. So
yeah,
like
it's more straightforward, I guess, in Operation Condor.
Yeah, just the whole like he's a pop star, there's a girl, he's doing it because Alan wants him to do it. He's getting the armor of God. He's already got the sword from the start of the movie. It's just a bit like. It feels like that thing that sometimes sneaks into Hong Kong movies where it's like, and then. And then, and you're like, you lose track of where you are in the plot.
Yeah.
Basically. But aside from that, I think it's like a fantastic movie and like, two of my favourite Jackie Chan movies, probably.
Yeah.
Like, I would have loved to see a third one.
We did?
Well, like a proper third one.
You mean like one like made in like 1993 or
something? Yeah.
The one thing I did appreciate though, like, because I was expecting when Chinese Zodiac came out, like, I didn't love it. I wouldn't say it was a favourite, but I was like, that was fine.
Yeah.
But I did like how they actually got that guy back who he goes to see. So it felt like it wasn't just like, I don't know, what am I thinking? Because, technically...
First Strike.
Yeah, technically First Strike is Police Story 4, but it doesn't fucking feel like Police Story 4.
No, yeah.
But yeah, it felt like Armour got 3, because they got like familiar faces back. I just, wish there was a bit more nods here and there in it. That's all, really. Yeah,
it's probably similar to The Myth. Like, it was just a bit whelming, that film, where it was like, it wasn't offensive, but it never really hit any highs or anything.
No.
It was there. Not to like diminish everyone's like performance and efforts to put into that movie. Yeah, but it just felt like there was no Amazon scene.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There was nothing that really like stood it head and shoulders above other films.
I did like that one fight scene where he's fighting with that guy and they make a deal to not touch the ground or something. That was a good fight scene.
Oh yeah.
But as for like criticisms, like I said, I would just like a bit more action in the middle to like even it out a bit. But I guess I know Jackie was trying to like make more of an adventure movie than a a martial arts movie. But
yeah, I think it's by design. Yeah, I think it's by design that it's not like wall to wall fights.
Yeah.
They wanted to, like I said, do more of a adventurer sort of film rather than just a straightforward martial arts film.
Yeah. And I know, like, I like Rosamund Kwan a lot, but like she doesn't get a lot to do here, really, apart from like look vacant and pretty. But I guess this was like early days still for her, I suppose. Yeah,
true. Yeah. It's kind of sad that she doesn't come back for the sequel, really.
And speaking of not come back for sequel, Alan Tam, like I love Alan Tam in this, but like this isn't a knock on him. I like find him really funny in it, but I'm just so used to him in this being like really goofy and like kind of. A bit of a wimp and stuff that I can't take him seriously whenever I see him in a movie that's just pure drama. Like that movie that I love, like it's got one of the best finales in a Hong Kong movie, that movie Dragon Family. But it's like Alan Tam going around blowing people away and like kicking people and slitting throats, and I'm like, come on, Alan. Stop being silly. Every time I watch it, I've seen it a million times, I keep waiting for him to fall over, and I'm like, no, he's a hard guy in this movie. But yeah, that's it really. It's a classic 80s Jackie movie.
Shout out to the random gay waiter as well.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's fuck me. Yeah.
He's like, oh, and stuff.
It's like Kenneth Williams on steroids, basically. It's ridiculous.
So random.
Whoever dubbed him had a fucking hell of a time, apparently.
Yeah, because the dubbing's this and the sequel. The dubbing is like something special, I guess. For us.
It's especially Operation Condor. Yeah.
Like I always watch. I have watched both these films with the original audio, the Chinese audio and whatnot and stuff, subtitles. But I definitely prefer the dubbed versions.
Oh yeah, when it comes to like the 80s, early 90s movies that you grew up watching on video, like you've got to watch that's the only soundtrack to me. It's like the one I'm so used to.
Yeah.
It's weird watching the original Cantonese dialogue for me.
Yeah.
Champion Cinema.
But as for the Blu-ray, it is available in like various places, but the only release you'll need is the 88 Films UK release if you've got a multi-region. It's probably like the best Blu-ray, like as far as just a set goes, 'cause I don't buy as much anymore. Yeah. It's probably like the best release I've bought in the past couple of years. It's like really the packaging's really nice, the artwork's amazing from Kung Fu Bob.
Yeah.
You get 2 cuts of the movie, the extra Japanese outtakes. You get an episode of a Hong Kong TV show from 1989. It's like an hour long with an interview with Jackie, which is really good. If you can find the original like limited version that came in the big sturdy box, you get like a double-sided poster and a book in there that could have had a friggin' release on its own for like £21 and I would have bought it. It's insanely detailed.
Yeah, it covers quite a lot. There's a bit, I won't cover it, like, I may cover it at the end if we've got time, but like video games and all sorts. It touches on like a whole range of stuff.
Like a dozen Jackie Chan video games I had no idea ever existed, probably because they were like only available in Asia. But I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, I thought there was Jackie Chan Stunt Master and that one on the NES. That was it. It was like 15.
That's a whole raft.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a fantastic release. 88 Films has been doing a bang up job with all the Chan stuff and Hong Kong stuff over the past couple of years.
Oh yeah, like I've basically bought every one. I think there's only, and in fact, watching these movies prompted us to get the Twin Dragons set from them.
Shit,
as well.
I forgot to release that.
Yeah, so I've got that. I think that was like one of the main ones. That and Iceman Cometh is like 2 I just needed to get. Yeah, so I'll get that next.
But in the US, Shout Factory released the box set along with it's a good box set, but it's a weird box set. It's called like 83 to 93. So you get Winners and Sinners, Wheels on Meals, Twinkle Twinkle Lucky Stars, Armour God, Operation Condor, City Hunter, The Protector, and Crime Story. And I'm like, why Winners and Sinners and Twinkle Twinkle and not My Lucky Stars? It just seems odd for them to miss that out.
Yeah, definitely. And then I don't know, Crime Story is a bit of an odd one.
Yeah, I guess it's just they're just. Because I think they've done like a 70s to early 80s one and an 83 and 93 one. But yeah, it's an odd one to choose, I guess. But
yeah.
Like it sticks out.
Yeah, like tonally and stuff. Yeah.
But those are, every one of those have extras on them and it's pretty decent. But I think it's like $80 for like 8 movies. That's pretty good for Blu-ray box.
Yeah, when you break it down,
But yeah, just as a warning for like any newcomers to like Jackie movies, maybe you're listening, I don't know, maybe you're out there. If you go for the cheaper release, if you don't want to get any of the fancy expensive ones, if you want to go for a cheap one, don't buy the one that's called Operation Condor 2, The Armour of the Gods, or whatever it's fucking called. The shitty Miramax version. So the same goes for Operation Condor. Avoid them like the plague.
Yeah, because it's one of those weird things, isn't it, where Operation Condor, the sequel, was released in America first as just Operation Condor. Yeah. Once Jackie's career started to lift in America, they wanted to cash in and release the other Armour of God movies, so they've released it as Operation Condor 2, which is like fucking back to front. We were just talking before we started recording about how awful the posters, the front covers are. Yeah, it's like Operation Condor especially has a fucking fighter jets in the text of the title. I'm like, why? And it refers to him as a secret agent. What? Yeah, it's just got 2 girls that aren't in the film at all. Yeah, it's kind of 60s thing going on in the background. Yeah. Where it's women doing those 60s poses with guns and stuff, and it's what the fuck? And a really bad superimposed Jackie head on someone else's body. It's all the wrong angle, a weird shape and stuff. It's just awful. It's like they tried to make it shit, basically, that cover. Yeah. It's very strange. But yeah, it's a shame that a lot of Hong Kong movies kind of have all these weird maligned releases.
Just the shitty Miramax cut, really, with them just butchering. I mean, the only thing that's like of note, I don't know about Armour God, but at least Operation Condor, like Jackie went in and dubbed his lines for that release. So it's actually Jackie's voice you hear in that version. But I'd rather have the 90s dub, though.
Me too. I'd rather have hey and stuff.
Yeah.
Like Donatello voice or whatever. It's almost like you could have easily voiced a turtle, basically, in the 90s.
Yeah. But as for merch and stuff, like obviously, we'll mention a few of the like international posters, but something I completely forgot about until watching them again. There was an Armour God comic book in the 90s.
Oh yeah,
Spartan X.
Yeah, of course.
I've still got like the first 2 or 3 issues. Yeah,
because there's video games, isn't there? Spartan X.
I'm not sure
as well. Yeah, there's like. Well, in late 80s, those not that you would know what to look at the screenshots, but they are Spartan X games.
Well, the thing is, that would be because that's the weird thing about it. The person who came up with the comic just liked the name Spartan X is what Wheels on Meals is called in Japan. But they decided to call the Armour God comic book Spartan X just because they liked the title. And I'm like, that's confusing. Yeah. So that game is probably a Japanese game of Wheels on Meals.
I think I was going to say, I think one of the Spartan X, just looking at the images, the arcade game of Spartan X just has images from Wheels on Meals.
Yeah, it'll be a Wheels on Meals Japanese game. Yeah.
It's all very confusing.
But yeah, I'm not sure. I meant to look up, see if I can find the info. I've just got a few issues of it from back in the day, but I'm not sure how long it lasted. The Spartan X comic.
A couple of years, maybe.
Yeah, so that was like Armour God 3 before Chinese Zodiac, pretty much.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, sadly there isn't much in the way of like action figures out there. Jackie Chan does have a few 1/6 figures that have released over the years, but none of the big companies like NECA or anything have really touched on Jackie Chan movies, and I think it's a shame because I think an Asian Hawk figure would be really cool.
Especially Condor, I would say. Even though I've always loved, for some reason, it's like quite a simple look in Armour God, like the grey pants, the grey jacket, but I've always just liked how he looks in that movie.
Yeah.
But Condor would make a better figure.
Like with his little vest and that.
Yeah.
Water vest.
Yeah.
Or whatever he's got.
Yeah.
And sadly, there is video games, but I'll maybe talk about it at the end because there's just stuff that's so obscure.
Yeah.
Sadly. So not much merch. I had a look for posters, alternative movie posters, but sadly outside of Kung Fu Bob, he seems to have the market cornered, bless him, just to himself.
There
is a little bit more art out there, but not for Armour of God. No.
Yeah, but his artwork's awesome. They're really like all the set together of all those 88 films releases with his artwork. They really just look nice on the shelf. He just does a hell of a job.
Yeah, it's almost like it's gonna sound like super vain and shallow this, but there's a lot of films that 88 films release. I just want to buy just because the covers so nice.
Well, that's part of the boutique charm, and people see covers and go, and it's got a slipcase. Oh, I need the cardboard.
Champion Cinema.
A couple of years later, in 1991, they released Armour of God 2, Operation Condor. With a runtime, it's IMDb bullshitting. According to the runtime on IMDb, it's 1 hour 38 minutes. But actually, according to my Blu-ray, it's 1 hour 47 minutes. Or, if you're watching the Japanese cut, it's 1 hour 57 minutes.
Yeah. I imagine the 1 hour 30 will be the Miramax version.
Probably. Yeah, cut right down.
It's cutting everything out.
And as I said, up to this point, the most expensive movie that was made, directed by Jackie Chan in Hong Kong, starring Jackie Chan, of course, as Asian Hawk, or, let's face it, Jackie in the dub version.
And Condor.
Condor,
in
yeah.
the dub version as well. Yeah, it's like he's given himself a new gimmick.
Also starring the lovely Carol Cheng as Ada, Eva Koba as Elsa.
The MVP of the movie.
Yeah, very much so. Shoko Akita as the underused Momoko, I must say.
She's used as a plot device.
Yeah. Aldo Sambrell as Adolf, and Vincent Lynn as the head henchman Mark. So, what's it about?
Asian Hawk is on the trail of an underground base full of Nazi gold buried somewhere in the Sahara, along with companions Ada, Elsa and Momoko and a bunch of nameless fellas who get slaughtered. It's non-stop hijinks, frolics, gorgeous vistas and numerous kicks to the face, neck and chest region.
Nice. It's one thing I definitely noted in this movie, watching it again, is the mercenaries all just die as well. It's a very brutal movie. It's an unforgiving movie.
It is, yeah.
They all just get buried and burnt alive at the end when the base gets blown up. I guess they kind of had it coming because, they did massacre a camp of innocent people.
Yeah. I mean, they're working for an old Nazi and then betray an old Nazi for gold. And then he's like, well, fuck you then.
It's a surprisingly high death count, this movie, though, when you think about it.
Yeah. And if you think, I think tone-wise, I know that Armour God's quite, light. Yeah. But this feels a lot lighter. So I think, even though the scene where loads of people die, it's not as graphic as Armour God, but it feels a bit more harsh because the tone's a lot lighter and like funnier and stuff.
Just crueler, the fact the guy that gets executed point blank range, and then his mate has to watch it, and then he just gets shot off camera.
The guy that just gets slashed in the face, with a knife or a stick or something. I don't know,
something or like a big sword or something. Can't quite remember. But I mean, I'm just gonna say it straight out of the bat. It was probably clear talking about the first movie, but I definitely prefer Operation Condor. You know what?
As a film, I do as well. The only reason I've always preferred Armour God is just because the action at the end. I've always looked at the ending, but as a film, Operation Condor is much better.
Yeah, because it's such a tighter movie. Like they've took the ideas and the plot points and the beats from the first movie and they've just tightened everything up.
Yeah, exactly. And it feels so much, because of the budget and where they're shooting it helps as well. Like it feels so much grander and it's shot a lot better, I think.
Yeah.
Because one problem, watching it back to back with Armour God, I know, like you were saying, there's some awesome shots in Armour God of wow, look at that view. But I just think watching it back to back, it feels like color palette wise, it's very bland. Like everyone's wearing grey and cream. Everywhere's grey. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's probably less a vibrant movie. Yeah, definitely, which is interesting.
Whereas this just pops.
Yeah, there's some great locations again, just needless locations. I love the bit when he's in the volcano at the start of the movie.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah,
the big lake, extinct volcano, whatever it is. Where it's it serves no purpose, that scene, other than just he's cool.
Yeah,
he's fishing in an extinct volcano, in a cool car that can turn into a boat.
Yeah, just miles away from anyone else. Yeah, and it's just it's one of those things where the money's on the screen. It's not nothing's been pissed away. Even if it is for a ridiculously extravagant shot, it's kind of needless, but looks cool.
Yeah, just him getting a fax as well. Totally.
That's all I've seen is him fishing and getting a fax.
We've probably talked about this before. I feel like we have, but I always notice watching this movie as well, the audio of him getting the fax is from Alien. The mechanical noise. But not only is it the same sound, it is literally just 5 seconds of audio pulled from Alien.
Oh, so it's not like it's the same sound effect Alien used. It's just nicked from the soundtrack of Alien.
Because basically, it's the sound when they go in to speak to Mother, and it's there's a weird pulsing breathing noise. When they go into to speak to the computer call, and there's all the mechanical machinery, and if you listen really carefully, you can hear that pulsing breathing sound in the background of them getting the fax. So they've literally just pinched 5 seconds of audio from Alien.
Yeah, well,
sticky beggars.
That's fine. I mean, Hong Kong movies have stolen entire scores, so that's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Maybe they just really loved Alien and they wanted to have a sly nod in there, an Easter egg.
I've never noticed that, but if anyone's going to notice, it's going to be you. You've seen Alien 50 more times than me.
Any Alien and Alien noises that I've reused in other movies, I always immediately spot them. But yeah, I much prefer the setup in this movie. I like the fact that Duke is back, the character, the Duke, or whatever his character name is. And he feels more like Asian Hawk is his go-to man for jobs. Yeah,
it feels like in between movies they've developed a friendship, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah,
very a Tomb Raider-y kind of feel where he's on commission to go find shit for him. Basically,
I just wish though that because Lola Fauna in the first one's his daughter. I just wish there was a little throwaway line where he's like, "My daughter's off in Spain doing such and such."
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's surprising that because apart from Jackie and the Duke character, does anybody else return?
No,
I don't think they do they? No. So that's pretty mad, really.
Yeah.
For a Hong Kong movie, because there was always that convention to try and get 1 or 2 stars back for the movie.
Yeah.
Or 3 or 4. But yeah, no, the setup's like a lot better. I think you feel it's. Don't get us wrong, it's kind of clumsily done, but I think it's needed. The Duke character basically just gives you the plot. Basically.
Oh yeah, he's Huggy Bear basically. You just go to him when you need the plot to move along.
But it's good, and you kind of straight away you're like, I know where I am in this film.
Yeah. And I like the way that they introduced the Momoko character as well. How she's like a street vendor, and then the thing he picks up, and like all leads, then the whistle later. It's like, she's used as just a way, like as a plot device, but that's fine.
Yeah,
it's really well done. Yeah,
yeah. The characters all like come and go in the story and intertwine really nicely.
Yeah,
I feel,
there's points, where any fucking action movie, it's a bit of a leap. Like how just at that time he's the granddaughter of a Nazi also comes over. It was linked to the gold thing. That's a leap, but I'll let it go.
You just gotta like gloss past that.
Yeah. But yeah, as we were saying, like for years we've just always quoted the Elsa character just because of the whiny dub that she has, but she's like genuinely like one of my favourite characters in the movie.
Yeah, there's just every time she speaks, basically, it's just quotable.
I was going to say there's a couple of lines that just, because I haven't seen this for a few years, that popped straight back into my head. The moment where Carol Chang's trying to like motion with her face, like there's guys in the room with guns.
Yeah,
it just goes,
it's getting smelly in here.
You're ugly.
Yeah, I think some credit has to be given to the people dubbing, I guess.
Oh, it's the dubbing, yeah.
but the performances are definitely there as well. Because I think the Ada character and the Elsa character, they're really, really good. They get a good laugh out of us. When she's stretching her hands and she appears with the money and stuff. And I love that. I would be fascinated to know, like, more specifically with Ada, like, was that the intention? Like, she comes over like as a massive arsehole, basically straight away.
Yeah,
it's because of the dubbing.
She's a bit like up herself, I think. Yeah, I think she's better than Jackie. Yeah, I think that's the
but it's like it's turned to 11 because of the dubbing.
Oh yeah,
basically.
Yeah, totally.
It's just like, oh Jackie, don't you know? And stuff. But yeah, I really love the women really shine in this movie. Basically,
they get bloody slapped a lot though. Like we'll make the joke about Sam all the time doing it, that I think we'll forget how often Jackie has done it in these movies. Like the women get battered in this film. I mean, they get their revenge at the end with the bit with the army helmets, but then straight away afterwards get slapped again. I'm like, Jesus, Jackie.
Yeah, like Momoko gets slapped like 5 times or something.
And then punched. And then because she's too hard, she won't go down. Because it's just of the time, like kind of humor, and like what Hong Kong people would like find funny, that like women are useless and need to be saved. Like the fucking amount of lines in Armour God where Jackie's just like, women are bloody useless.
Yeah, I think it might be the Elsa character at one point says like, women. No, I think it may be it. She says women aren't completely useless.
Yeah.
And it's like she's not even saying women aren't useless. It's women aren't completely useless.
Yeah.
So she's admitting that women are somewhat useless.
Yeah.
Really random.
There's 2 awesome Elsa bits that I forgot about when like they're trying to escape from that market where they're being sold as like concubines, I guess.
Yeah.
And then that woman, he grabs the wrong woman and just starts screaming, so Elsa just knocks her out to shut her up. I forgot all about that.
And she gets freaked out.
And then Jackie's like, nice one.
Yeah. A lot of my favourite bits are to do with Elsa. Like, I love when she's during the whole trying to pass the key off in the hotel scene.
Yeah.
And they're being chased by the bad guys, and where Elsa like does a full lap of the hotel.
Yeah.
And like comes back on the bad guy, and he just stands there and waits for her, and the camera just follows her the entire way. Or she runs all the way around the outside of the place, and then just her acting when she's like,
yeah,
she runs back into him. Really good.
And of course that bit where the hotel manager, who we'll get to in a minute because he's a highlight, just won't fire the gun at the bad guys unless she gives him money. So she gives him loads of money, and he just goes, "Here, take the gun." And she can't control it because it's too powerful. Now, I think we said when we reviewed True Lies, I'm sure James Cameron saw that and put it in True Lies. It's exact same scene.
Yeah, same setup on that. Yeah,
except it doesn't have the great follow-up line of later on when she's got a gun. That guy's like, "But better believe it, guys, she shoots like a maniac."
And then so she does. Yeah, so like immediately trips and
Yeah.
starts shooting like a maniac.
I love a little diving headbutt with the army helmet on at the end as well. It's insane.
Like how to break your neck.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, really good. Really good physical comedy and just like the gags really stand up.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And the whole, like, there's a recurring joke in the first half of the film when Jackie pulls off Ada's towel to distract the bad guys, and then later on Elsa tries it and Jackie just looks her up and down and goes
It's like, why didn't you do anything? It's like,
it's really good. Of course, other comedy in the movies, like the two Middle Eastern characters who keep popping up, who want the gold, who are like kind of like, they just feel like they're fucking right out of Cannonball Run.
Yeah, I mean, it's if we do any voices during this podcast, it's hard because they do lean on certain like racial stereotypes.
Yeah, every character that's not Chinese in the movie is a stereotype.
Yeah,
you know? Even Elsa to a certain point. I mean, she looks like she's got like bleach blonde flat top, like and she's German. Yeah.
But they're like harmless fun as well, I guess, to some degree. I like the fact that they're like they very much are the comic reliefs of the movie, if there is such a thing in this film, but they're the useless sort of like non-threat bad guys.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They kind of just feel like cartoony, you know what I mean? They're very cartoony, but I love the moment, which is once again like the bit in Millionaires Express where you can see them on the balcony, like they're spying on them. So he's like, "I've got men outside," and it's just cuts to him going,
and he almost gets blown away by the like meaner bad guys in the movie.
It's so funny. They just keep like falling off the balcony over and over again and stuff. And the moment where they're about to kill themselves with cyanide pills, but Jackie stops one of them, so the other one quickly spits it out. They're just fucking useless.
Yeah. It's so over the top anyway, the fact that they're just immediately going to kill themselves.
Yeah, it wasn't even, the situation wasn't even that bad.
Yeah, it's good. It's nice that they like reoccur through the movie and then kind of come back at the end.
Yeah, right at the end,
they're just like lost in the desert and they're just desperate for water.
And then there's the hotel manager runs like, we're in Morocco at that point, I think.
Morocco, yeah.
Who was just, I just love that moment. I don't think I picked up on this for like the first, like last time I watched it, but it's just a little throwaway line where they don't touch any of the food that they've eaten.
Yes.
So then he picks it up and he's like, "Okay, give this to table 3."
He's like just totally cheap, reusing the food.
Yeah, and then
the condom stuff.
Oh yeah, the condom stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I'll do the voice because fuck it, it's in the movie. But we're just like, good sleep.
Yeah. Well, he's trying to sell them. At first, he's trying to sell them chocolates as a way to aid sleep for some reason.
Like that is not how you aid sleep.
Yeah. And then Jackie's like, we won't be needing any. We're not sleeping tonight. And he's like, and then pulls out a condom, and then condom, good sleep. And then another detail I forgot was like strawberry flavor.
Yeah, it's like extra pervy. Yeah. It's like extra seedy. Like you feel for Ada when she's like twisting her nose. Yeah, it's good. It's all that stuff's really fun.
It is fun, yeah.
But I suppose we should talk about the action as well, though. Really, that's like, it's massively ramped up in this movie.
It is, yeah. I mean, once again, it saves most of the like hand-to-hand combat for the end, but there is bits and pieces like in there.
Like the start, the opening. That really, again, like talk about money on the screen and stuff.
Oh yeah.
With the big, him messing about with tribes people again, basically. Yeah. Very Indiana Jones with him like getting rocks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it feels like Temple of Doom or something.
Yeah. But the mad bit where he's got the inflatable and he's going down a mountainside and stuff. It's crazy.
As soon as they say, they think it's the moon.
Yeah, the moon. Again, so many moments in this movie that are quotable.
But it would probably be problematic to someone 19 seeing it now.
The fact that he drinks the holy water and the punishment is he has to marry a big fat lady.
He has to marry the fat lady, yeah.
and that guy that's like, I used to be stronger than you. Yeah. And he's like randomly Australian in the bloody dubbing for some reason.
He's just wasted away because he's just been shagging loads, apparently.
It's like such a bad bit. Then, of course, the car chase stuff, like talk about money on the screen. Like,
yeah.
Crazy, just bombing through the streets of... I'm trying to think where that is.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I think that might have been Madrid, actually.
Yeah.
From memory. Look, I think I saw that in the trivia. But God, mate, there were like so many stunts during that. It's like crammed in. It's one of them things that you really have to watch multiple times to like get your head around all the stuff they've done.
And it ends with that great stunt of him like going off the pier and grabbing onto that box with like the rope on it, which it shows like 3 times at various speeds from various angles, which is always nice. Classic.
Like you always know when they're super proud, when Jackie's super proud of a stunt, when you see it like 3 times in a film. Yeah. Did you catch the bit where the stuntman as well, there's a guy dressed in blue and he gets absolutely like wiped out by Jackie's motorbike?
No.
It's a bit when they're going through, it looks like a sort of an indoor market, like it's got like a sheltered markets, or like, I don't know if it's like a fishmonger or something place, and he's like skidding through it, and there's like cardboard boxes everywhere, but there's a guy in like a blue like overalls or something, and he gets absolutely wiped out. He gets spun round.
Oh Jesus! No, I never noticed that.
Yeah, I tried to look to see if there's any trivia, but there's no mention of it. But Christ Almighty,
yeah,
it's like, it's not wire work. He just gets like spun upside down by the fact the bike's hitting his legs.
Oh Jesus!
Like, interesting. Yeah. Hope he lived.
I'm sure he was all right. Hong Kong stuntmen are made out of like iron and rubber.
Yeah, true.
But then I forgot to look up. You know that the outtake at the end when like Jackie falls off the chain and like hits all that sand. Like what? Yeah. I know he had a really bad injury. It wasn't as bad as the first movie. Did he like crack his sternum or something? It's something like that. He
dislocated his sternum.
How the fuck do you dislocate your sternum?
Yeah, it's like, that's something you shouldn't dislocate.
You can see by the look on his face, like he just, he looks in fucking agony. But
yeah. Like when they first pull him out, I mean, no, it's just because he's got sand on his face.
He looks dead.
But he looks fucking dead.
He does, yeah. He looks dead.
He looks like a comedy Chinese ghost. He's like fully white.
Yeah.
Basically. It's like, good God.
Yeah, it does not look good. And then, the show that, bless him, like, show that scene probably like 2 hours later where he's like sitting up looking fucked, but he gives a smile and a thumbs up to the behind the scenes guy. But yeah, it's for the finale is great. It looked grander, as I said, than the first one in the underground.
Yeah, it's again, it's like, it's very similar in its structure, but like, I love the whole the set is crazy. Like the whole underground thing. There's so much to play with in that. Like, it's a crazy space. So many visual comedy gags.
Yeah.
Like stuff like, I love the bit with the bomb. Where the bomb like rolls.
It's not all just weight,
yeah, it rolls across the floor. This big like World War II looking bomb that they've accidentally knocked out of its housing. Yeah, and everyone just stops
and holds the breath.
And then and it clangs against the wall, and then everyone's like, "Oh!"
Yeah, true. Then they just get back to fighting.
Great comedy moment.
And that bit when they're on the, I know obviously it was all well planned, and like this is just it's just good filmmaking, so you get a reaction. Like the moment where Jackie's face like a hair away from like getting his face smashed in with that those seesaw platforms. Yeah,
that's the stunt that always gets me. Yeah, where you're like, you clench your buttocks.
Yeah, like, no matter how many times you've watched it, he's fine, he makes it, but it's always like, and you like tense up a little bit.
Yeah, it's mad. The whole setup really is really intriguing about, I think, way more interesting than just some evil cult that's making money out of drugs and stuff.
Yeah, it's very basic, that isn't it? It's fine, but it's very basic.
Well, I think like this is like, Nazis have squirreled away like a couple 100 tons of gold, and everyone's after the gold, basically. That's kind of the premise.
And the whole backstory as well of like, Elsa's grandfather was put in charge of like killing all his men, so none of them would know about it. And the main bad guy is the one who refused to kill himself, and he killed the grandfather. Yeah,
it's kind of like multi-layered, isn't it? Like, he's a bad guy, but is he a bad guy? He's almost like he's out for righting wrongs and stuff, and it's layered. And
the little brutal bit of information that when he refused, the grandfather broke both his fucking legs, and that's why he's in a wheelchair.
I always think like, I always try and imagine that scene in my head and think, so he broke his legs, but then what? They had a bit of a scuffle and he stabbed him in the back?
He managed to like creep up on him and stab him when
with
he was
broken legs?
Yeah, I know, it doesn't really make sense. There's a prequel you need to see.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's the film I need. But yeah, I love that entire bit. I think they use the space really well. I think they use the fact that they keep cutting away. Usually I hate when movies cut away from action bits to what's happening, like that Phantom Menace whenever it goes away from the Jedis sort of stuff. And you're like, get back to the Jedis. I don't care about all this shit.
Yeah.
But whenever it cuts to the women, I'm like just as happy to see what the women are up to.
Genuinely funny stuff,
Yeah. And then it cuts back to Jackie fighting, and it's paced like really, really well. Probably for me, like the best of like all Jackie's movies in terms of just pure like on the screen accessible. Like I feel like you could definitely show this movie to like anybody that isn't really into martial arts. And they would like, it's a higher success rate, this film, than like many of Jackie's films.
Like, you mean people would just be able to like see, like look beyond a genre they're not that keen on and see it's still just a well-made, put together movie. Yeah, I would
like it's just super accessible. Like I'm confident like I could show this to like my parents who aren't like super into martial arts, and they would like enjoy the shit out of it.
That's how it's a good adventure movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's a few moments in the finale that I've noted down as like big highlight. With one of them, it's just just because the line delivery is funny when the elevator opens and Vincent Lynn goes, "Where's the gold?" It's like, "This is only the elevator, you imbecile."
Yeah. Yeah, he's constantly berating, belittling that guy.
Yeah, that Vincent Lynn plays a good heavy with that mad scar on his face. He looks super intimidating.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, kind of underused in the film.
I was watching the interview on the Blu-ray with Bruce Fontaine, who's like the henchman with the ponytail and the mustache from like the Morocco bits, and he's in the finale as well. Because like you're saying, like 9 months like it took to shoot. So like once they got back to Hong Kong, they'd like come up. Like I never really noticed until he said it that like that Vincent Lynn just appears suddenly in the movie out of nowhere because they just came up with a different idea for a bad guy to fight at the end. Yeah. So I guess that's why he's not really used because they only came up with him halfway through shooting.
Yeah, it's just pretty mad. Yeah. I did see something about, and this is all very allegedly, it's based off stuff I've seen, but there was like he's quite a famous stuntman in his own right, Steve Tartaglia. Yeah. Who I think he was allegedly going to have a much bigger role in the movie, but there was some incident where he like took a crew member's motorbike without permission. Oh damn. Or something, and Jackie like basically like personally demoted him in the movie and was like, "No, you're not going to be in this role anymore." Or something. Yeah. So I wonder if that also like kind of forced the hand a little bit at last minute. Yeah, maybe. To redo something. Yeah. But it's interesting that Vincent Lynn he's the only named henchman. Like as Mark. Yeah. Not a great name, but he has a name. Everyone else is just henchmen. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Or Adolf Skard. I think they're all listed as in the credits. Yeah. Of course, the wind tunnel fight is great. It's very inventive. Yeah. Like massive action / comedy moment in the movie. It must have been hard to shoot. Yeah. Well, actually, I've got a little interview about that to read through. I don't know, it kind of feels right to do it now, I guess. Yeah. Because it fits in. So with the Blu-ray of this, the 88 Films Blu-ray, there's a little booklet and there's an interview with Vincent Lynn. And it's just a little short. I'll just read a very short excerpt about it. Interestingly, the interviewer is Kung Fu Bob. Oh, nice. They did it during the pandemic, I think, over the phone. Oh, that's cool. So Kung Fu Bob asks, I heard that you got injured pretty badly. Can you tell me about it? During the movie. And Vincent said, we were doing the wire flying scene. Where I'm flipping through the air. The stuntman comes over and said, make sure when you hit those steel slats, you tuck your head. They set up the wire rig and they'd had about 3 or 4 guys who were going to pull the wire, which is attached to a big rig. Long piece of mountain climbing rope. So they would pull that and then the wire would snap. So they'd have to get a stronger tensile wire. And then I wasn't being hurled fast enough. So they've got a couple more guys. So then they would get 3 guys, then they would get 4 guys. But it's still not going fast enough. There's no mathematics here, no physics. No, just wing it, right? Which was Hong Kong filmmaking at its best. So then they got 6 guys to pull the bloody thing. And I'm flying, I'm whizzing back, flipping head over heels, and my head hits the back of the slat. Now, Jackie was on a podium, maybe 4 or 5 feet off the ground, behind a Panavision. I'm dangling in midair like a marionette, and the guys pull me back from the wire to where Jackie is. I'm very dazed, and I put my hand on Jackie's shoulder, and he says, "Are you okay?" I said, "I think I'm okay," and then I collapsed. It had cracked the back of my head open. They got me up. I came to. And he says, Jackie, he's referring to, you okay? I say, yeah. He says, okay, take a rest. We're going to do it again in 15 minutes. Mental. He goes on during the interview to basically say they put duct tape on his head because he was bleeding from his head. And that to this day, he's got a bump under his hair that he can still feel. Jesus. He never went to the hospital. He never got checked out. They just carried on with the scene, basically. Jesus. So yeah, quite an interesting read, though, the interview. Yeah, I don't think I've read that. Yeah, I love that interview with Bruce Fontaine on the Blu-ray is really good as well. Like, it's only 20 minutes, but I just love hearing stories from like the Western heavies, like the journeyman stuntmen and like martial artists that worked in Hong Kong back then. They've always got really cool stories. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So yeah, like amazing scene, but so much work and effort and personal risk and injury that went into it.
Yeah, it's people always got to remember, like, you know, a 10-minute fight scene, like, you know, takes like 2 months. Like shooting it for 2 months.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't even get a usable shot in a day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's like risky business. You know, like he said, it. There wasn't like, you know, consultants who were like risk assessing it and stuff. They were just like, we'll get up here, we'll do this, and we'll give it a go, sort of stuff. So crazy.
I'm always amazed. I mean, there's been a few times where like people have been super badly hit, or like you never hear of many deaths, which is amazing. Like they're obviously, you know, they're well prepared, they're well trained, but you'd think that there'd be more deaths because the amount of fucking insane stunts in Hong Kong movies, especially, you know, in Jackie movies, it's super dangerous. But I'm talking about the B movies, the lower budget ones that did crazy shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like I always joke though. Is that just because they just buried them out somewhere in Hong Kong?
Like Triad Productions and stuff.
They just took them to the new territories and buried them on a hill somewhere.
Like what's that? I can't remember the name of that Moon Lee movie where the movie just ends with her and the actor getting engulfed in flames, and then it just pauses and there's just a disclaimer on the screen that says these two were incredibly hurt but they're fine now. There's just no ending to the movie.
They're like, yeah, let's stop,
because the movie just got, I don't know if that was how it was supposed to end, but like I'm sure not. Like I'm sure it just ends there, and they're like, are they okay?
You're like having to Google straight away.
Yeah.
Did they die?
There is some disclaimer about like how badly injured they were, but they're on the road to recovery or something. I'm like,
Crazy.
Jesus,
What a way to end your film.
I know. You just come out going, wait a minute, was that a documentary?
And speaking of which, though, the ending, so the literal ending to this movie, it's kind of bittersweet, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, firstly, Adolf commits suicide, basically. He decides to stay behind and do the right thing, I guess, die with these men.
Kind of almost turns face at the end, being betrayed by his mercenaries. Yeah.
But then poor Ada, she doesn't get her gold in the end.
No.
Either. And none of them really, they get one little bar of gold.
Yeah.
Away from.
Which they give to the comedy guys who just chuck it away because they've been stuck in the desert for like 2 days without water. And then just that, I think some of it's probably a composite, but just that shot where it just keeps zooming out and they're just stuck in the middle of the Sahara with no in sight.
Yeah. Middle of nowhere. Yeah. Although I will say the gold is still there, technically.
Yeah, it's still there.
They're all behaving like the gold is lost, but couldn't they just come back with like diggers and stuff?
Yeah, you could just like make sure you remembered where it was.
I mean, there's a couple tons of gold, so it would be well worth just getting like tons of machinery and stuff.
Definitely,
but you know, maybe I'm just being too anal.
It's a silly, fun Jackie movie.
The gold's been buried, and that's that. It's gone.
It's gone forever.
And so are all the poor henchmen who, you know, were just doing a job.
Yeah, just hired to do a job.
Well, like I said, maybe not, I suppose. Like, maybe it's Mark. We'll pin it all on Mark. He was pretty evil. He was the one that shot, I think, was he the one that shot everyone? Or
yeah, it was, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
So maybe they did deserve to be buried.
Yeah, I'm guessing maybe they hadn't cast him then. That's why his face is covered for that entire scene.
Yeah, true.
Because he said they didn't really cast anyone until they came back to Hong Kong, and that was all still in like Morocco, I think, wasn't it? So
it's almost like there's a backstory missing from him, like, isn't it? You know, with them having the burnt face and stuff.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It's almost like, where did he get the burnt face from? And, it makes you think.
Nothing beats a badass henchman with a scar, a story behind a scar on his face, like horror in Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. The one bit as well that always makes us laugh is that bit just right before the end when they're trying to tell him there's a bomb about to go off and they're just like waving their body around and Jackie just thinks they're dancing.
Yeah, and he's like,
it's such a random joke.
Yeah, again, really like visually funny gag.
Yeah,
really. Like the way he does the dance and stuff.
Yeah, and the dubbing helps as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it, right? Do you want to go on to the Blu-ray?
Yeah, I was going to say, well, the only thing, just because we've gushed about this movie, the only sort of very minor criticism, like if I was being brutal about this film, and it doesn't bother me, but I think it probably needed like a 5-minute cut from the middle. I think it's like a bit strange how they get raided by the bandits, and then there's like a little rescue mission at the bandit camp, and then the bad guys come and shoot the people at the camp. I feel like it's like, I don't know, it almost feels like the scenes are too similar. Like the bandits coming and like battering them all, and then the bad guy mercenaries coming and battering them all again.
Yeah, it feels like you should have just had the bad guy, the mercenaries, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you get a fun little comedy moment with the bandits taking the women and trying to sell them, and Jackie buying them and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of... Well, I guess you need them away from the camp so the mercenaries can come and kill them, yeah?
That's the only reason that scene happens, really, so that they're not at the camp when the mercenaries come and kill them all. But could they have done something like that they were going to get water or something? Or,
yeah, it's a very extravagant excuse to get someone away from a location, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
But again, that's Jackie, though. Just sees a gap and goes, what can we do here? You know what I mean?
Yeah, just it's a little throwaway scene, but it's like there for comedy and stuff, and it works quite well.
Yeah.
Champion Cinema.
So the Blu-ray. One thing I wanted to mention that I forgot about. Do you remember the old original UK rental? Like, it was in Letterboxd.
Yes.
It was in 235. I always thought that was just, why just this movie? I guess was Jackie like adamant like original aspect ratio on the UK video, please.
Yeah, it's like the version we watched, way back then is like the unfucked with version that's on the Blu-ray.
Yeah,
now.
it wasn't really trimmed by the distributor, because it wasn't like, it used to be Imperial that released them over here, and I don't know if they were ever in charge of like trimming them, like, or it was always Golden Harvest. But yeah, that was Entertainment that released that one, Entertainment and Video. So maybe they just didn't mess with it at all, because it was the uncut version in widescreen, but with dubbed, obviously. Yeah. Just always thought that was interesting. That was one of the few Jackie films that was released in like uncut and in widescreen.
Yeah. But again, maybe it's just because it's such an accessible movie to like, even to like Western audiences. It's kind of like it just works.
But as for the 88 Films Blu-ray, not as jam-packed as the Armour God one, but the transfer, I forgot how fucking nice it looks. Like, it's stunning. It almost looks like a 4K. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it looks
really
brand
nice.
new. Yeah.
And it's cool that you get two versions.
So this has two cuts to the movie. The extended cut, which I think is the Japanese cut, right?
It is, yeah. 10 minutes extra.
And the Hong Kong cut, and you get a commentary with Mike Leader and Arnie Van Emma, who I think do most of the commentaries on the Hong Kong stuff for 88 Films. An interview with Bruce Fontaine, like I said, which is well worth the watch. I said I love hearing stories from all those old stuntmen from back then. And he also makes a mention, because of the time period, like 1990, when they were shooting, like Game Boy was huge. He said Jackie was like obsessed with Game Boy, just playing on it. He said he was like he was playing. He said he didn't want to get one, like the Bruce Fontaine, because he said I don't want to get addicted because I know I will. But I think he borrowed one of someone else on the set and was playing it and was stuck on something. He didn't say what game. And he said Jackie like looked over his shoulder, just grabbed it off him and completed the level for him and gave him it back. He said, I've been playing on it constantly. I'm kind of an expert now.
Nice. Cool story.
Yeah, and it comes with, like you said, like a booklet, always full of information. But
the booklet's well worth a read. Like they're always packed. I think that's the main thing. They're just packed with info. It's crazy.
Yeah, some places do. Some companies do booklets, and it's just like a few interviews and stuff. But the 88 Films ones are always just crazy. I was not expecting the amount of detail in that Armour God one. It's not a book about Armour God. It's like so much more. It's like just a Jackie book, basically.
Yeah,
it's really cool. But yeah, that's it.
Yes. Yeah, so, and similar to Armour God, obviously there isn't any specific, sadly, Operation Condor artwork or anything, aside from the amazing work that Kung Fu Bob's done on
which is really nice. Like, for say, the wind tunnel, isn't it, of him, like, hanging with the... Yeah, really awesome. To one side and stuff, Like I was saying before the show, I've always loved the original Hong Kong art of just Jackie standing in the desert. It's just like colour-wise, it's just a really pleasing image, a very clean, pleasing image. Yeah,
it is, isn't it? Like this, and like it's almost like a peachy colour in the background with like the desert and stuff. It's, there's something like I was saying to you earlier. I had a Blu-ray from China before it came out in the UK, Operation Condor, and that was the front cover. And I think even then, and it was also, I'm sure that was the one where, now and then when you get Blu-rays and they're like all velvety to the feel, to the touch.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what that material is, but like it's not velvet, but like it just feels like nice to touch.
Yeah, it's like a mix between like a gloss and a matte finish. But it's not satin. I don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? But it was one of them boxes where I was like, it's nice.
Yeah,
visually.
My fucking Anthropophagus Blu-ray feels like that, so it's weird pulling that out and rubbing that cover and going, oh, it feels nice.
Somebody catching you walking in and going, you weirdo.
What are you rubbing? What the fuck is that?
Anthropophagus the beast.
Why is that guy in his own guts? I don't know, we didn't even friggin' discuss what we're doing for next week.
No, we haven't, actually. No, shit. Although we've got some ideas.
We do. We've always got stuff in the back burner ready to go. Something wacky, something fun, something silly. That's what it's going to be next week.
Just sound like Funhouse, basically.
Yeah. I'm going to get Pat Sharp on.
Again.
Again, yeah, he was on once before. So yeah, until then, folks, you can catch us on Instagram at Champion Cinema Pod. Go leave us reviews on your favourite podcast providing platform. And yeah, man. I'll see you next Wednesday and down the pit if you're hanging around there. See you there.
You're getting all the gimmicks in. See you on the hoop.
Bye.
Champion Cinema.